Welcome to the Classroom Brew podcast. The teacher podcast is a little bit like drunk history. But wait, do you guys actually drink while you record episodes? Yeah. Actually. Yeah. Welcome back to Classroom Brew. This is episode 108. And for this episode, you're going to hopefully, by the time this episode comes out, be listening to a much happier version of me. But before we get to that, make sure whatever app you're in, rate and review the podcast. It really helps out. If you give us a new rating and review or a nice little comment, something nice that you say, whatever, it could be something silly, unrelated, doesn't matter to me, you are probably going to get a shout out. So if you would like that shout out on the podcast, make sure have your friends, coworkers, spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever, do a rating and review for the podcast. Pretty soon you've heard me guys talk on the podcast about the hiring process for the teacher to get a social studies teacher, which, usually we're about a dime a dozen, but it was a pretty tricky process. And we made a selection. We were very happy with our choice. And now it's just a matter of waiting for the district to onboard him, which, oh boy, that could take a lot longer than I think I'm comfortable with. So in the meantime, what I've been doing is preparing the work for that classroom on top of my own. So needless to say, no one is more excited for the new guy to start than I am. And during that time, it's been actually interesting like a lot of my former students that are in the room that currently has no teacher. They recognize some of the stuff that I've had them doing. Like this looks like one of your worksheets. Some of them are, they're gracious that they are getting work and stuff like that because some of them have more than one teacher that's not present, like a rotating list of subs, and then others are not so happy about it. I'm sure I would be in the latter camp if I were their age. Made me sound really old though. But anyways, excited to see when he gets started. Really looking forward to that workload dropping off. These 12, 13-hour days are really getting old between football and essentially 10 classrooms instead of just my 5. Wow, having 5 again would be really, really nice. But it's weird because I'm also not in the room teaching, the room that isn't mine. It's just kind of preparing the materials and then, unfortunately, grading. And usually I'm already behind on grading as it is for my own classes, so now just double that load right there. So for this one, shamelessly, got a black cherry white claw. And wow, that's a lot of sugar. I don't know if I'll make it through this one. Whew. So yeah, really long work weeks, really work days in general. And it did pay off though. So a lot of my time is spent doing football coaching after school, and there's a lot that goes along with that throughout the school day, of course. And finally, we pulled off a win, and it was really exciting. It was a nice, sizable margin victory for our guys, which is great because we've had more than 3 games where it was one possession that made the difference towards the end, including one in overtime. So it's really a different culture in our school, and I think athletics are a big part of that, which has been really cool. There were a lot of people that were like, "Did you know the team won on Saturday?" And I was like, "Yeah, I fucking know. I was there." So it was really cool, and it was a nice win where just about everybody that had been part of the team and grinding this whole time, they got some sort of an impactful play, which was just great to see their hard work literally pay off on the field. It was a good feeling, really good feeling. Anyway, it's been another crazy week now, so we're getting ready for the football season's winding down. We only got 2 left, and the school year is just getting started, though we already had our seniors ditch on a senior ditch day. And we're like, it's only October, right? And they're like, yeah, we're going to ditch, though. It's like, what are you going to do? Like, come on, our attendance is so low. Don't you ditch anyway? Like, every day is senior ditch day and sophomore ditch day and freshman ditch day and junior ditch day. Like, why is there a special day for this? And also, you're barely seniors. So that we already had our first senior ditch day. And it's not even like, usually, isn't that usually like, oh, you know that you're going to graduate? This is just like, we're counting down the time. Like some of these kids, I don't know if they're going to graduate realistically. I think our on track percentage is so low that like if the school year to end like tomorrow or something like that, some of these kids don't have the days to afford to be able to ditch like that. But I've never even heard of that. A senior ditch day within the first month. What are we at now? A month and 4 or 5 days of school? That's insane to me. Just like, I don't want to be here. So you just got here, man. You just got here. Also, I don't either. But still, I'm still here. I usually don't take off a day this early. Now, granted, I am going to be taking off a day this Friday, the day after this episode comes out, but it's a different special circumstance. So I don't know. Maybe it goes back to the difference in my upbringing in the school district that I was in and the neighborhood I was in and the culture and climate. But like, if you missed a day, that was rare versus now it's like the norm. I have a student that just started like yesterday. For you guys, well, by the time the episode comes out, it will have been a few days that she started. And we're already like a month into the AP curriculum that I've got set. And it's like, you got some catching up to do. And she already missed day 2 because of senior ditch day. Like, what? Everybody ditching? What's going on right now? We're going to do one of these once every semester. We got fall senior ditch day, spring senior ditch day. Is that not enough for you? Is too much school on your senior year? Oh, you had like 20% attendance? Cool. We doing like a weekly one, week 10 senior ditch day. Usually we'll do it on evens, week 12 senior ditch day. Like, this is absurd. But anyways, because there were significantly less kids in the building today, I had the opportunity to kind of do a little bit of research. And I had this question. I was wondering about some of the kids that, whether they're seniors or not, that they don't really come to school very often. And I'm sure you can guess what their grades are like if they're not coming to school very often. And when they are coming to school, they're not really where they're supposed to be. And I'm having this conversation with another teacher about this. And I was like, man, if I could just be a fly on the wall. Like, admittedly, some of our kids, they don't come to school because they have a parent that's not there, or a parent that doesn't care, or a parent that keeps them home, or maybe they're gang affiliated. There's a multitude of different reasons. And sometimes I'm just like, man, I wish I could be a fly on the wall just to, like, what are the conversations these kids are having when they're ditching school? Like, is it like something they talk about? Is it just like, oh, it's another day for Bob, he's ditching school? Like, what's it like? And then I got met with that question, that just hypothetical question, with the greatest gift I could have ever asked for on senior ditch day. And this was apparently a number of students, both former and current, are SoundCloud rappers that I knew, but they also have music videos recorded by professional studios, like high quality camera, high quality audio that's dubbed. You got all the lighting and all that stuff. And so I was like, oh, what a treat. So I made a little playlist for myself, just watching some of my current and former students and their rap career. And, I got to tell you, I'm alarmed at the amount of, like, for some of these kids, they're recording this when they're like under the age of 18. And somehow these music producers are okay with them like smoking up while they're, on their camera. Like, okay, I know you don't give a shit, but like, aren't you worried about your production company if you have a minor smoking and you were there, potentially complacent, potentially supplying? Does no one else see a problem with this? What the fuck? But anyways, and there was one of them where I was watching and I was like, oh, I didn't know you guys know each other. And I'm, oh shit, I prayed to God that you didn't know each other. For some of the kids that are there. And I almost can like look back and think like, oh yeah, this is that day no one showed up for that exam. Or, oh yeah, this is that day that mock trial fell flat because there were 2 kids in class. And it's like, I know why. They were filming this video. And I was watching one of them. I was like, is that my hall pass in the background? That's where it went. It's famous now. Because Lord knows it's never in my classroom when a kid's like, can I go to the bathroom? Must be pretty prestigious to steal a teacher's hall pass and put it in your YouTube rap music video. And like, is that my worksheet? I have a very specific format, and that looks like my worksheet. Why are they rolling it up? Just, oh my God, just minor drug use. Like, is some like, can we flag this YouTube? Can we do something about this? I'm like, oh yeah, you run these streets? No, you run these halls. Maybe you run these halls. You certainly run away in these halls when I'm like, hey, go to class. Run these streets. Get out of here with this shit. You getting all this paper? Yeah, you're missing assignments. Getting all your meals for free because you're so famous? No, that's the free lunch program, my guy. That's the free lunch program. But anyway, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to discourage that. It's just sometimes you see these things and you're like, you got to be kidding me. Or wow, what, sometimes money can't buy you the greatest gift of all. And this is definitely one of those times. So, and it's weird because this week especially, it's not like it's the kids that I'm encountering that are really being that problematic for the most part. And I think this is very true 99% of the time. Correct me if I'm wrong, at least for your building or your circumstance. I'm happy to hear you out on this. But usually it's the adults. So like the expectations that you set in the building or the interactions that adults seem to be having, whether they're passive aggressive or just flat out aggressive with each other. And of course you're like modeling that. But I did see something from a former kindergarten teacher of my like I had more than one. My kindergarten teacher, my kindergarten teacher posted, and it was sad because it was like a rest in peace post for her dog, a golden retriever, which is really sad, of course. But I wish that this was the case when I was in her class in kindergarten. But it sounds like she had some sort of like a service dog or like a program that put a dog into the kindergarten classroom to work on whatever the research is behind that, which I thought was really cool. Let's see if we can pull that up. But I was thinking about that. Like, that would be so cool. Like, how do I get a dog in my classroom? And also, like, do they... of course, I'm sure it would be like, well, we've given you 1 or 2 bags of dog food, and this should last you the entire school year. Just to... you get two reams of paper. You also get 2 bags of dog food, so, make it last. But I wonder, like, right now, I'm looking at right now, dogs in classroom programs. See, that's the one bad thing about shooting from the hip is that when you think of something, you're like, oh, shit. See, I don't know if this was like therapy dogs or if this was, obviously it would have to be a therapy dog, he or she. But yeah, improve socio-emotional or social-emotional, can't talk today, learning, cognitive, and even reading skills. Like, I want a dog. That'd be great. Make sure that my building will allow me to take him or her home, but that sounds amazing. Yeah, therapy dogs versus service dogs. There's health benefits, not just hormonally, but also anxiety and obviously social catalyst effect. Leads to increased stimulation of social behavior. That's great because I do very collaborative assignments and things like that. They have a positive influence on cognitive development. Now, granted, I wonder if this is more research for like the younger age kids, like primary grades, or if this is great for secondary, but this sounds fantastic. Cleanliness. Oh, concerns is cleanliness, allergies, fear of dogs. Yeah, obviously. But therapy dog, and obviously there's, I think that would be really cool. I don't know how that would work. I'm sure it'd be chaotic. Get a dog that can just like sniff out, like when there's like a student bullshitting, like, they're not printing tardy passes. Woo! Yeah, sure they aren't. It's not what Sparky says, buddy. Go get your tardy pass. So yeah, maybe I got to look into that. I think that'd be really cool. Sounds like some great program that I'm sure fell flat because of funding or because of the way that the Department of Ed is nowadays. But it would certainly be awesome, to have a specialty. I'm going to call it my co-teaching dog. Why wouldn't I? That sounds fantastic. I'm going to look into it. If you guys know anything about it, that'd be fantastic. You can shoot me an email, classroombrew@gmail.com, or reach out on social media @classroombrew. Let's find a therapy dog for my classroom. That's already one of the best classrooms in the school. Let's make it even better. So, thank you guys so much for listening. I guess a shorter one this week, but I appreciate the support. Again, make sure you rate and review in whatever app you're listening to. You can reach out if you want to be on the show, or if you just want to interact with us. Love when you guys interact with us. Not 100% sure what's going to be coming up in the coming weeks, but I do have a number of people that are on the docket that I guess I've just been putting off because got a lot on the plate, but it's going to be coming down pretty soon. So really excited for that for you guys. Thanks again for listening, and as always, class dismissed.